I'm not the local administrator, that's why. Maybe, let's see. The internet, you can change adapter options, yeah, but you're not a local administrator. So the other way around it is to do this. Go to server manager, go to local server, and you can see the IP address you have. Firewall. Sign. Oh, we have to do that one. Yes, status, details. That's the wrong address. This is the status. Let's go. Okay. Not doing good. What we need to do, we need to make sure it's plugged to the same switch. Now this is setting. Network card. Got one here. Okay, and we have another one here. Okay. So what I need to do, I need to create two internal switches. One for the network, so that was NLB will communicate with each other, so the cluster will communicate with each other. And one for the network, for the company's network, which is on the same domain, 192.168.50. So that's what we need to do. So in order to do that, let's see, I need to, let's see, can I do it from here? I think I can. I can go to this guy here and sign out. And control delete. And I need to sign out to sign to another machine. So I need to go SRV2. The name of the server, SRV2 / administrator. So I'm signing in locally on the machine, not on the domain. And the reason why, because anything you need to change in the local machine, you're supposed to have an administrator permission. So password, as you know, password 01 is very complicated, right? Nobody can guess that one. Okay, now let's see if I can manage that network cards. So you go to the Ethernet and change options. So we have two of them. Let's see, status here, details. It's 168. So I need, let's see, properties. Okay, it's, now I need to put an IP address to communicate with the domain. So my network is going to be 192.168.50. So the Active Directory is main IP address is 10. So I need to put maybe 20 over here. That's fine. With the subnet 255 gateway, I don't care because I'm not going outside. Use the following server address. For the DNS, the DNS here is supposed to be the IP address of your domain. Yeah, 192.168 because I have integrated DNS 50.10. Okay. So this is done. Let me see this one if we name it. Name this one to internal network. this is we call it. This one call it cluster. Yeah. Okay, and I need to change the IP address here. I need to create a different subnet. So I'm going to put 192.168.10. I can put that 10. I don't need that one. I don't need that one. Let me get the DNS. I guess 192.168.10. I'm sorry, 50. I mean, I put it in there, but I'm not expecting these two to work together. The reason why, because I don't have routers in here. So it's two different subnets, but just put it in there. So in a real world situation, you can make it. Okay. So now notice like when I change the address, it put the name of the domain automatically over there because now it sees because it's on the same subnet as my domain. Over here, it's a undefined network because it's not part of that domain, it's a different subnet. So, and I need to put this particular network card on a different switch. So I'm going to go and create a new switch. And I need to call cluster. So minimizing this screen right here. Oh, I minimize it. So let's see. Virtual switch manager. And I can go to internal. Actually, internal or external doesn't matter, but we'll do internal. Private. So you can create a switch. We're going to call it a cluster. Cluster SW. It's a cluster switch. And now we need to apply this one here. Cluster switch internal only, yes. Okay, so now we need to go to this machine and go to the setting. And you remember the cluster, which one is which? Network adapter. I think the second one, which is this. Now I need to change it and connect it in cluster. Right. Now let's see if this is taking effect. So we can go back to the network management. Go to the internet, change adapter options. Oh, I connect the wrong one. Okay, this is 192.168. Oh, that's good. That's good. Now this is on the cluster, which is good. Status, detailed. Okay. So now we have two of them. One on the network and one on the cluster. Let's test. So we get one right here, main front. Say we say ping 192.168.50.10. Can I ping it? And the answer is yes. I can ping my domain, which is my DNS. Now, to have an idea what's going on, you go to this server right here. This is my domain and my DNS at the same time. So if I go over here, double click it. log in as password 01. So if you go to tools over here and go to DNS, and I'm going to show you the zone that we talked about yesterday. Right here. And we have something called forward lookup zone. And I'm supposed to have the STP, which is right here. STP local, see that? And these are the records that we talked about. Remember we talked about the A records? Basically, as you can see, every server or a machine is part of the domain or a member of the domain. It's supposed to have a record here. So this is the name of the server. And this is the name of the server, and this is the IP address. Follow? So I have server 2. This is the IP address I just put. And now I have server 2, which has 10. That's 2 IP addresses, which is good. And server 3. I can put server 3, which has 50 dots there. So that's good. Let me go see server 3. If I start it, any question at this point? So I need to start server 3. It takes time for Bob to do. Steve. Hold on. Patient. Okay, how you doing on the other classes?
Not bad.
Not bad.
Doing pretty well.
Good.
I hate Linux.
I have to agree.
You like Linux?
No.
Well, you don't like Linux. You narrowing your options in concentration. So you don't like Linux means you don't want to be in security. You want to be in administration. Just to be on security.
IoT or wireless is where you want to go.
Yeah, that's good. Tell you what, any profession that you be good at is good. So you have to be an expert in one area. And this it takes time. You start somewhere, then you build your knowledge. So that's good. Server 3 is going forever. Applying security policy to the system. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what I did on those machines because it takes time. So many things. Alrighty, there we go. Now I have an options to log into the server or to the domain. So let's now look at a server with to access. Alright, so I need to do the what we call password 01. Now I'm logging into the local server, not to the domain. And come on. Let me see something. Yeah, I am in here in a setting. Oh, this has only one network card. Okay. Oh. Have a manager. Okay. Yeah, that's why people that don't use GUI a lot because it takes too much time to takes a lot of resources. That's why they use the core. So you got that first option here. Okay, so it recognizes like an STP, so it's supposed to be have an address. We should just see what address this one has. This is a 4. So it has 50.30 because this is server 3. It's like that. This is the DNS, which is good. Now I want to create another. I need to create another network card to connect it to cluster. So we can go right here. Let's see if I can add it while the machine is running. So network card, add, and connect it to the cluster switch. Here we go. And we say what? Okay. So if I go to the GUI, voila, that's my network card I just added. So I go to name it. And we say cluster Nick. And of course, I need to give it a address. So the cluster on sub 10, so I need to go here and put it in 192.168.10.30, since this is number 3, and subnet mask, same thing, gateway, I have it. Need it. This is 192.168.50.10. Use that's the DNS. Now, I need to test if the cluster can talk to each other. So how are we going to do that? So we need to go and ping BING 192.168.10.10, and voila. So I'm communicating with server 2. Okay. So the cluster in between each other stay talking, which is awesome. Now, let's see if I can run the cluster on the domain. So we need to add that feature in here. I mean the role. So I got a server manager. It's a feature, right? Let's see. Where is the local server? You can go manage right here. Add rules and features. You go next. Next. This guy here. You go next. Now what I'm looking for, okay, I need this one. Next. Now I need to see features. Let's say features here. Let's do one at a time. Do you see NLB in here on the features? NLB. What do we call that? Network. Load
Go
balance.
up. I just saw it.
Supposed to be on the end. No, load balancing right here. See that? Add that features. And also, if you want to have let's deal with this one first. Next, install. And now we're gonna have the load NLB, and after we install it and finish with it, we go to the tools and we put the tools on launcher. And then we're gonna put server 2 and server 3 in cluster. You can put more up to 32, but this is only 2 many. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right. Now next semester you're taking server 2 and you're taking Cisco 3 and you're taking database, SQL.
Yeah, SQL.
And I have bad news for SQL. The book is not going to be available till September. September 7th, they say. So I guess we can survive the first 2 weeks. You're going to do a lot of hands-on and SQL, so that'd be good. So what else you taking next semester besides you taking Cisco 3, SQL, server 2. Let's see what else you taking. That's it.
I got Cisco 3, Server 2, SQL, and Emerging Technologies.
Have the same thing.
But emerging technology is supposed to be for the other group.
Which group?
So make sure you select another class to put on the side just in case they kick you out of emerging technology, so you'll have another class to take. I think they have spots because the other class is about 16 people. So I don't know how this is going to work because we might go hybrid. If they go in hybrid, you have some issues. I don't know. I'll see. Get to that point. Alrighty. So let's see. Look, it added I can tell that added that role. It's over here. You see that IIS? That's basically the internet services right here, which is good. Now, if I go to tools right here, I can see I'm supposed to have network load balancing. See that? So we finish the features. And usually, if you install something and didn't work, you can go to flag. Yeah, those are features are already there. So I go to tools and go to NLP. So you have the Internet Information Services right here, which is the IIS, and you have the network balancing. That's basically what we got yesterday. So from here, you can go to your cluster and the host. We're going to call it NLB. dot STP dot local. That was what? That's what we did yesterday. Connect to one host that is the report. Oh, what's that? Let's see. I don't know which one we did yesterday. Let's see. Cluster. Let's see. Oh, you have to put, we put the cloud, what? S, A, not cloud S, is on. Actually, you know what? Let's see. How about the on-end server? Let's see. Yeah, on-end server one. On-end, this, yeah. Oh. Let's see. So this will be host, that's gonna be this RG2 maybe. Yeah. Why is that reach? Okay, how about SRV2 dot STP dot local? Now the cloud locate energy. Well, I don't like this one. SRV, let's see. Oh, because we have two of them. How about server 3? Server 3, server 3, STP, local. No, this is not working here. This is I. It's not working. Let's see. Connect to one host that is to be part of the new cluster. So it's going to be SRV3. SRV3. See that connect. No, we have an issues. Can we? Okay, let's see. Server 1. Let's see if we can communicate with server 3 from here. That's why maybe it's not working. Ping 192.168.50.50. Remember that? And now I can communicate with it. Let's see if we can communicate with the main name. So it would be my name. Now SRV3 dot local. SRV3 dot local. So that's the problem. You have to communicate with it. So that's why I cannot see it. Oh, now I see it, which is good. Now, if I go back to tools, NLB, where's NLB? What is somewhere? That was my notes right here. Right click, new clusters, let's see. SRV3 dot SDP dot local. Let's see. You have to put the fully qualified domain name correctly. Let's see. Let's see over here. Yeah, SDP.local. So we are using the same format. Let's connect. Let's see. Why is not connected? Okay, let's so we SDP local. All right, so this is not working. Let's see if we put 192.168.50. That's it. That would work. Who is not? That's some issues. Why can I communicate? You can ping it, but they cannot see it. Cannot resolve it. See if we have firewall issues here. First of all, I need to make sure there's okay, so I'm going to go to firewall and make sure disable. Firewall is disabled. Windows. Okay, so let's go to now. It's always a problem with the Windows communication. Let's see. What is security, security, security setting. See security setting somewhere? Let's see. Here we go. Firewall. Okay, configure turn defender all. Okay, off here, off here, off here. Now we need to go back to tools. Like this, let's see. So SRV3, SRV3, let's see that part. But now, okay. Let's see. That is the. We're stuck right here, so that's a problem. I'm not gonna waste the time for this. I need to troubleshoot this one and see why it's not doing it. There could be a firewall here too. Let's see. Oh. Let's see. Maybe that's the problem here. I'm going to disable the firewall on this guy here. Let's see. Control panel. Let's see. Always the problem is for the machines to, and I can tell because they have two network cards. I think I need to disable the cluster first. Let's see. If this doesn't work, so let's see. You can ping it. You can ping. So let's see. Firewall. Let's see here. It's all off, which is good. And run. Indeed, ping. Or that's SRV1. SRV1. Like SDP. Local. I don't know. It's communicating, but you cannot see that SRV3. That's why I don't like Microsoft. I stick with Cisco. Oh, what did that do? Oh, man. Both desktop connection. Password, sure. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna try one more time. Did it work? So I troubleshoot it today, and I'll get back with you tomorrow on that. Let's see. One more time. One more time. That was rules. Oh, that's not what I want. I want tools. I need NLB. I want load balance manager. So expand this. All right. Connect to one host that is to be part of the new host. So how about SRV2? SRV2. How about SRV3? Yeah, it's not working. SVP. Yeah, looks like we're having issues. I need to resolve that issue, so. For tomorrow, please read the section that deals with actually, we'll go over it for a few minutes while I can fix this problem right here. If you go here, we're talking about, I mean, that's what we're doing, but for some reason, it's not working. I need to see why it's not communicating. See, that's what we're trying to do. We Well, here they say they give it a name, NLP. Stand. What else? Oh. Yeah, I'll talk to you. So, the next, I guess I'll go with this fresh one on this one here. We're going to talk about the failover cluster. So, if you get a chance to read over them night, we'll go over them tomorrow. So, and if you have a question, let me know. Let's see who's still in the call. Still have a few people here. Okay, we can go over. We have a few minutes. Let's see. So we're gonna do the failover cluster right here. So the failover cluster, because you have a multiple servers basically serving the same applications or provide the same services. So what happens if one server goes down? So to have a cluster and to provide services, in most situations you will have access that the server will have the same storage, common storage. But as they describe here, the term used to describe failover cluster, you need to be available and you need to be familiar with the types of services they provide. And that's what they call it, the cluster application. An application or service installed on two or more servers participating in a failover cluster. It's supposed to be more than two, okay? Because it goes from 1 to 32. So they have a cluster server, Windows Server 2012 released 2 servers participating in the failover cluster. So you will have maybe some numbers of servers providing the same services. So if one server goes down, so the other servers or server will take that responsibility. Means what? Means providing services for the clients. So you can set it up in different ways. You can do, for example, if you have a multiple servers, you can put one server to be active, and that server will serve all the clients, and the other server will be passive. Passive means what? It's there, but it's not responding to any request. Just like in case something happened to the active node, then the passive node will be the active one. And usually set up with, well, the question is, how do you know, or how you know, how the passive node knows this is not available anymore? That's why we have what we call the heartbeat. Let's see. So you got, for example, a server here, and you have a server here. And you have communication between the clients between the cluster, and that's why you will have different types of network, okay? And this is your clients here. And these are the clients, basically. Now the clients here, basically, they sometimes they have some kind of a tendency to connect with each here. Okay. And the clients see only one IP address, which is that's the cluster. Now, if this is the active one, and this is the passive one, so all the requests is going to go to the active, this guy here. So, and over here, those guys will communicate with what we call heartbeat. So that the minute the heartbeat stop on the active one, then this guy is going to respond to the request of the clients. And that's why a cluster node that is not active doesn't stand by. Okay, so this is one way, but you can, since you have two servers, why we don't create something called what? We create something called a load balance. So the load balance basically is another setting. We can say, okay, server one takes 50% or 20% or whatever. It's a have a setting, like a different way, like I discussed yesterday, and you can do it that way because there's no need. This makes sense to have a server just to be on standby or it's not doing anything. So that's why they put them on load balance, so they share the weight of responding to a different client. And we see how it works, like on the setting yesterday. And you can set up by port or by network or by subnets. That's what the setting we talked about yesterday. Let's see. And that's the term that you need to understand. And also, actually, the term is explained in details in page 300 in the book. So, failover cluster also has something called quorum, because anytime you participate in cluster, you're supposed to have the server has to be what we call a vote. Okay, so the vote, basically what that means is how many server we need to keep before we take that cluster out. So that's why we use something called quorum. Quorum basically is a database containing cluster configuration information about the status of each node, active or passive, doesn't matter, for the cluster application. It's also used in a server communication failure to determine whether the cluster is to remain online and which server should continue participating in the cluster. So if you have like 4 servers, okay, in the cluster, that means you have how many servers do you need to stay function before you take that cluster out? And that's what they use the quorum to vote, because each server has a vote. And sometimes if you have 50-50 vote, it's a tie. So some people, what they do, they use a disk, and that's what you can see, the witness disk. The witness disk, basically, you need an even number to win if we're going to keep that cluster available or not. And that's why we use the quorum for that purpose. Also to talk about the heartbeat, the cluster heartbeat. And this is like a communication between the cluster nodes that provide the status of each node to the cluster quorum. The cluster heartbeat or lack of it, inform the cluster when the server is no longer in. So if the server is down, it takes its vote with it. So it's not. So now it depends on how many servers stay in the cluster. And they do the vote. If it's 50-50, then they need the witness disk. If it's like even number, so they can vote. Now they have some setting. Even like they can keep one server functioning and it's not taking the cluster down. So it depends on how you set it up. And this is the terminology that we need to understand. Now on this picture here, it's kind of odd. Because usually if you serve in the same application or provide the same services, usually you will have data center, and in the data center you have like some kind of common storage, okay, for the services. Over here, like it shows you, we have different clusters, I guess, and has a common storage for two of them. So usually you'll have more than two servers. To be exact, it depends on the high availability. What is your what do you call uptime standard? Some people have like uptime standard 5.9. That means like 99%. So the more high availability you want, the more the server you put. And it also depends on like what else. Depends on the traffic. If you provide the services and you have a lot of traffic, you need to add more servers. And this all works together. Let's see. How failover cluster works. And failover cluster work by using two or more server and shared storage to provide fault tolerance and high availability. Client computers see that failover cluster as a single entity that can be accessed by a single name of IP address. That's basically you have a multiple servers, but you have only one virtual IP. So from client perspective, you can see does not care for the IP address of a single server. All what they see is the IP address of the virtual IP. So all server has access to the application data. So because all the server in the cluster basically provide the same services, have the same applications running, and they have some kind of way. So if one of the server failed, they still have the other server will take over. But if you put them in a load balance, it's kind of different. Now, when we talk about cluster failed cluster server works, and this is like really depends on the topic because now we're talking about NLB, network load balancing. Now we have failover cluster in different sense, but we'll talk about it in other chapters. So passive servers means what? When the passive server, like we talked about earlier, if this is failed, then this guy will take over. So because why? Because the client is communicating with this IP address, with the private IP. And the private IP, like if this goes down, then the passive server is going to provide the services for the client can access the same application like they would access it before. Okay, passive server now, when the active server is no longer able to serve by using a process called quorum. Quorum basically what? They determine if we need to take that cluster down or we should operate. That depends on the vote, number of votes. And like we said, if you have a even number of votes and the vote will die, then they use the disk witness. And the disk witness could be local storage to break the tie, or it could be like, especially now on the cloud, it can be on cloud storage. And it is still, and also some long time ago, they used to use a file server, also work as a witness. Basically to break the tie. Core model, and that's what we talk about. There are a variety of core models, node majority quorum used for clusters that have an odd number of members. So if you have odd number, then it's no problem, because if you have 5 server or 3 server on the if you have an odd number to vote, okay, so you can determine easy. Node in this majority quorum used by default on the cluster with an even number of cluster nodes. So you need, it's like you have a family, they want to go on vacation, and you vote 50-50. Now, you need somebody else. You need another vote to break the tie. So maybe you can tell your neighbor, okay, do you think we have to go this way, to this place or that place? And that's what the display over here, okay? So, because you have even number of nodes, you're going to decide if you're going to take the cluster down or not. So this makes a difference. That's what you call it. You have a node and file sharing majority quorum. That's what they say. You can use a disk and you can use a file share server also to participate in the vote. No majority disk only quorum allow the cluster to remain operation as long as the witness disk is available to at least one server. Because as long as you have storage and you have a server has the application that provides services for the client, so it's okay. The cluster will stay up. Of course, we talked about the cloud witness, which is used Microsoft Azure Cloud Storage, works similarly to Node and file share majority quorum. But the only thing is because it's in the cloud. So I'm gonna stop right here. Tomorrow, I'm gonna fix the problem and we go over it, and maybe we're gonna start chapter 10. We're gonna skip chapter 9. We're going to chapter 10 and 11, and get 9. We'll come back. Any question? Read this information is very helpful to understand it. I know you're not working on it, so I'm sure on the lab, on your Cengage lab, they have a similar lab you need to do to create NLB. Hopefully you're not gonna go through problems like we did today, but I'll work it out. Any question? I think I'll see you in about 20 minutes. All right. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
All righty.